Thank you for taking the time. I know you're a busy CEO, busy business owner, so taking the time really means a lot to us. So let's get started. Sort of a rapid fire, just come at you with some questions, Stephen, and I'm really looking forward to your answers. The first thing that I just wanted to ask you is, you've been running the family-owned scrap metal business for over 15 years now, and what's a lesson that you've learned that you could share with us?
So family businesses can be a blessing. They can also be difficult at times, right? Working with your family. One of the best things that I've learned is the trust factor, right? You can definitely trust your siblings, your parents in that business. On the other side, it could also be difficult to work with them and take the family aspect and take it out and put it into business, right? Another challenge that we have is the fellow employees, coworkers, to keep them all on the same level. You
Right.
want them to not feel like because they're family that they're one step above them. You want them to all be on the same playing field. But definitely the respect and the trust is a great thing to have in a family business.
Oh, it'd be absolutely critical, wouldn't it, Stephen? It'd be
Right.
absolutely critical. Thank you for that. That's a great lesson that you've learned. How do you keep customer service at the center of such a fast-paced transactional business as the business you're in? How do you keep the customer at the center of it?
So it can be difficult from times because every customer or supplier has a different requirement for service, whether it be the individual we're buying off the street coming in, their service is in and out quick and great pricing. You have your industrial clients who want the bin switched right when they're calling, right? They sometimes drop the ball and forget to call us. So we have to jump around for them. They also want great pricing. At the end of the day, everyone's wanting price, but the service is impeccable because if you leave somebody for too long, somebody can come in and swoop up. So obviously prioritizing the specific customer's needs, maintaining that communication between the supplier, customer, and our dispatch or our personnel, and trying to really start to use AI in some of these things where we can kind of get the AI into some dispatching, some automated generated emails that can go out. Just a lot of that, right? Try to get a nice process involved.
And it helps with the communication, right? That does keep the customer front and center. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What is the most unexpected thing you've ever seen come across the scale at Dundee?
So it wasn't any type of recycled materials that came across. The most unexpected thing that I said I would have seen so we have a radiation detection system that we don't buy any radioactive material. So it went off one day and we have a big one and then we can kind of pinpoint where it is. And then we have a handheld one to say, okay, this is radioactive. We don't want it. Well, it went off when an individual drove his pickup truck and trailer over the scale. And I got called in. We started to pinpoint where it was. And it was in the cab of the truck. And we're like, okay, what's going on here? So we got him to back off. And we had just the individual walk through and he set it off. So he ended up he had a doctor's appointment or a hospital appointment the day prior, got an injection of some kind. And he was walking around like quote unquote hot. Right. So that was pretty wild to see that
That
a
is
person could set it off. Yeah.
that is wild. That's an answer I didn't expect, Stephen.
Yeah.
That's right. That is different, no question about it. In such a gritty and repetitive business at times, how do you motivate your team?
So that's a good question because everybody has a different form of how they want to be motivated. We're always working and trying to include everybody in a different type of motivational whatever there. We try to like when it's cold and when it's hot, right? Like temperature wise, like they have to work in the freezing cold weather and in blistering heat, right? So we obviously help them out with the taking breaks and things like that. But we try to include them on a lot of we have a spring and a fall kind of gathering. So we ask for their suggestions. We get them to come out. We do some barbecues for them. We just listen to them, right? What they want, foster a positive workplace, goals, like set good goals for them, give them rewards after those goals. Just very good motivational things for them to make sure that they feel like they're part of a team.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Get them involved. Yeah, very so important. Goals, rewards, right? Yeah. And yeah, that would help. That would help a ton. There's no
Yeah.
question about it. I know from what you've told me before that a big part of the culture at Dundee is giving back to the community. Eh?
Yeah.
And can you just tell us a little bit more about that? Like, why is that so important to you and to Dundee?
So I've always said that money can only do two things in your life, and that's give you freedom and the ability to help other people, right?
That's great.
So we like to go out into the community and help many different causes, many different things, right? I come from a large household of four brothers and four sisters, so five of us all together.
Yeah.
We didn't really have a lot growing up. So when I go out and I see kids that can't afford, like their parents can't afford to feed them, can't afford to put them into sports and all that stuff, that really gets to me. So I really like no kid should be left on the sidelines. No kid should be left hungry, right? So we do a lot of charity barbecues for like nutrition for learning, and then also like a lot of sports, local sport leagues, baseball, hockey, basketball, things like that, right? Which also comes back to the last question is
Yeah.
we every month we have a new charity that we like to donate to, and we actually bring the employees in. They get to fill out a request form that they feel like a charity that they want to that hits their heart, right? Because what I feel isn't necessarily what they feel like would be good for. So we get them to include them onto where we feel like would be best fit for that month.
That's great. That's great involvement. That makes a difference, doesn't it? It probably helps you attract good people into the firm, right? Knowing
Yeah.
that you've got that's part of the culture that you have.
Exactly. Like we hired an employee recently, about 6 months ago, and then the first month he came in, he was basically at tears. He's like, I've never worked for a company that was this much involved in the community and actually cared about it.
No, that's
So
awesome. And so good for you for doing that. That's a great example for a lot of companies, right? A lot of people just don't get involved like that. So good for you. And good for your family for getting involved like that. That's just
mm,
great. Uh, the other thing I wanted to just ask you, and then we'll wrap up, Stephen. But if a new employee walked into your yard for the first time with zero experience, hey, zero experience in your business, what's the first thing you would want to teach them about scrap metal?
that they're not alone. That a lot of people don't understand that there's actually a very good business in taking a recycled product and turn it into something new. Whether it be cans from your blue bin, a car, any type of metal, aluminum wire, right? So that they're not alone, that there's a lot of people that don't understand it, right? My favorite is when I go out and tell people what I do for a living. Like they ask me and I tell them, and they're like, "Oh, so you're the guy that goes around and picks stuff out of the blue bins at the end of my driveway." I've always like, yeah, you know what? That's me. Don't worry about it, right? I don't correct them, but yeah, that's my favorite when that's what people think.
Yeah, that's a great thing. But they're not alone. That they got a lot of support, and nobody's got all the answers. Eh?
Yeah, and if they got a good head on their shoulders and they're willing to learn, we love to teach them because that's
That's
the
the key.
best. Is somebody come in and doesn't really know the industry, we can teach them to how we want them to be taught, right?
That's great. That's great. Stephen,
Yeah,
I can't thank you enough for being on this podcast. Okay, we really appreciate it, and this podcast is adjourned. Thanks, Stephen.
but